Good afternoon. I would like to welcome everybody to the Monday, July 21st, 2008 informational meeting of the City Council. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I would also like to, at this time, make an announcement that there will be an executive session for the purpose of legal consultation at the end of this meeting. Second thing on our agenda here is the City Council staff report. We have updates from Deborah Owen, City Clerk.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Sioux Falls City Council. Just a couple of things to remind you of. You have some information in front of you concerning the deferred action item 24 on tonight's 7 o'clock agenda. There will be an amendment, a proposed amendment that needs to be added. It is simply the sentence that you see highlighted, and I think there are instructions there before you that are highlighted in yellow. That will be requested by the Planning Department, and it really is just to add that sentence to the subsection 358. And then, in addition, just to let you know that the budget, the capital budget amendment suggested timeline has been out and delivered to you, and just to keep you on notice that July 29th is kind of that first deadline that we look to kind of begin to submit amendments to finance or to the clerk's office to have those drafted for you. In addition, you've been given a lot of information in your boxes, some of which has come from Public Works concerning questions, the Q&A at the CIP hearings, at the CIP hearings last week, pardon me, and that's for your review. And then also, so that you know, there's another agenda item. It's the land swap issue at 7 o'clock, and there's not an amendment that's needed for the ordinance. Simply, the agreement had adjusted in the timeline because of the effective date of the agreement, and that has all been taken care of for you, so you don't need to do an amendment on that item. And then lastly, just to give you an update on the executive orders, the Airport Overlay District Aviation Easement, I think most of you have seen that executive order, which has the mayor has asked for a moratorium on the aviation easements with the overlay district in lieu of a study group who will be reviewing the Airport Overlay District easement and proposing changes to the council at a later time. Thank you.
Thank you for that information. Any questions or comments for Deborah? Hearing none, I'd like to move to item number 3, Mayor Munson. Is anybody here from the mayor's office? Hearing no response, we'll move on to 4, the Audit Committee. Anybody from the Audit Committee care to respond? Mr. Jameson says no report. Very good. Number 5 is Fiscal Committee. Fiscal Committee, do I have a response? Again, no report. Land Use Committee, of which I'm the chair, I have no report as well. We've not met recently. Number 7, Public Services Committee.
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Now we come to item number 8, City Council Open Discussion. Any items? Councilor Knudsen.
Thank you. I would just like to say that Councilor Anderson and I met this morning with the new committee that I call it the Permanent Supportive Housing Site Committee, and we had a very good discussion. There were about 8 or 10 of us there between the county and the city, and we had a wonderful first meeting, I would say, and we just again just talked about the concept in general, and we want to get moving forward really quickly with the architectural study, and our next step will be next week. We're hoping to walk through the Army Navy Reserve building with some with one of the architects early next week, if it works in the architect's schedule, to just kind of get on the same page as far as what we want figures on. And we, of course, considered, we started talking about other sites that might be out there, too. And then on behalf of the entire committee, I am issuing a plea for the community to step forward and as soon as possible, and to either private individuals or business enterprises, if they either own a facility or they are aware of a facility that might be a wonderful facility for permanent supportive housing for hopefully to get started at least 35 single individuals. And because, again, I don't think any of us are married to the Army Navy Reserve building, though I continue to like it a great deal myself. But we are looking for other options out there, but we need your ears and eyes, too. So that's a formal request from all of you, including other city councilors. And let's see, and moving to a second topic, I would just like to say that last Friday I attended another one of the McKinnon Park 100th birthday party planning meetings. And again, we'd like to encourage people who are listening today to save August 9th, 10th, and 11th on their calendars for a wonderful family celebration at McKinnon Park. And you probably all noticed by now on our city website, www.siouxfalls.org, that there's all sorts of information with exact schedule, and we've now added a dog show. And of course, since I'm a dog lover, I'm getting my dog ready for the dog show. And anyway, the whole calendar is there, and there's also, we are still looking for some more volunteers to help with that wonderful celebration. And our next two meetings will be this coming Friday, July 25th at 3 p.m. at the bandshell at McKinnon Park, and then the next Monday, August 1st, at 3 p.m. And we start right on time, and Susie, Gary, and Erica Beck are doing a very nice job leading us, and they start on time and they end on time, so we just need an hour of your time. And we're continuing to look for photographs of people and events from McKinnon Park, and you'll also see on the website that we have a new poster that has been made up. I have a copy of it, but I don't think you would be able to see it very well from my copy. But anyway, it's going to be a huge new poster of a wonderful historic photos that's going to be put into that kiosk right north of the bandshell. Let's see, that's all I can think of for right now.
Thank you. Any questions of Councilor Knudsen? Dee, I've got a question of you. I regretted I couldn't be at that meeting this morning, but I had to have some things taken care of at work. But last week, I think it was at the regular council meeting, Gerald put forth a question that's been concerning me lately, and that is exactly, at this meeting, were the architects able to ascertain or tell us exactly what they're going to produce for us for the money that we're going to put up?
Thank you for that question, Councilor Litz. The actual architectural firm did not meet with us yet this first meeting, and so the answer to your question is no. But we, as a group of committee members, are just trying to solidify what we want on that list for them to consider so that they can give us a very realistic estimate of what it would cost to renovate that building if the county and the city decide to go forward with that project. And I know that a couple different times, including this morning, a couple staff people mentioned what a great list that Councilor Brown had provided to them. And Councilor Brown, why don't you just maybe tell us what your short list was, because that's what we're really going to go by, and then I added common space to your wonderful list.
A couple of the things I put on the list were finding out what it would cost to provide bathrooms for all of these efficiency apartments, another option with shared, and I'm trying to remember what else I had on the list. I'm glad Councilor Knudsen added common areas, but I'll find that list and I'll forward it to all of you so you can see what I put on it, and please add to it.
Very good. Thank you, Councilor Brown.
And Councilor Litz, I just thought of one other comment, is that today at the meeting, the administrative assistant for the county, Mr. McFarland, had just a stack of, I don't know, about 8 memos or packets left over from early May, and it was when Commissioner Tweet provided just an update to the county commission on just the Army-Navy Reserve building. And so today I'm just kind of handing those to you casually. Just again, those estimates are really just estimates, and you will recall that in that Homeless Advisory Board business plan that, again, it was suggested like 24 units, but again, I just want to remind you that the Army-Navy Reserve possibility came up after that business plan, so that's why we're now talking about 32 to 35 units. That's why there's a discrepancy on the number. That's very important for you to remember. But anyway, and then Stacy Teason, the homeless, the staff person for the homeless, who does such a nice job, gave us also a housing fact sheet just showing us, like, in 2006, what it cost per unit to construct Cayman Court, which is a southeastern behavioral health home, and also a proposal that was submitted recently to HUD, but denied, unfortunately, for the veterans transitional housing. So these are just some nice fairly current building numbers, because we're really trying hard to put our hands around real numbers.
Thank you for that, Counselor. Next thing would be staff reports. We didn't have any requests this week, so we're going to move on to item number 10.
If I could ask a real quick
Yes,
question.
Mr. Staggers.
Last week, we were talking about that issue with the airport overlay. Do you happen to mention that when you were the chair, you had asked for a report on this and that it should be due sometime this week or today? What happened?
Yes, I just remember that. Oh, sorry, I should have asked for permission. Is that I just remember that I was told at right about that time that I said that comment, which was about 2 weeks ago today, that around 2 weeks, it wasn't like exactly an hour, but it was like around 2 weeks that the staff was working hard on this proposal and would be coming before us, approximately 2 weeks to give us a recommendation. And I know that report is still coming soon, but yet not quite today.
I'm a little confused. Who is that report from, Counselor?
From the administration, Mayor Munson and his staff.
I see. Very good. Is that it, Mr. Staggers?
I'm just wondering if anybody's heard, are they going to maybe modify that? Because, like you mentioned, we now have an executive order saying this is not in effect anymore. And so, I don't know, do you think they will submit something to us here shortly? Or?
I actually visited with the mayor earlier today, but I didn't visit with him on this topic. But I know from previous conversations that I believe that the administration is very committed to reviewing that ordinance very carefully. And I believe, again, it's very dangerous for me to try to speak for anyone except myself, but I believe that Mayor Munson and his team have no problems at all suggesting that it be modified or repealed completely if, in fact, that is the final recommendation of their group after a little bit more review. So I believe they're very open to making needed changes, and I assume there will be some recommendations for some changes.
Well, if I could just ask you a quick question, too. Some time ago you mentioned that we got the realtors and we have the home builders getting together to try to resolve all this. Is there any timeline on that?
Mr. Staggers, my understanding was last Thursday was the first meeting on that they were all going to get together, and I have not been in contact. I was out of town Friday, and then the weekend came up. I've not been in contact with anybody from those groups, but I believe Wednesday I'll be in touch with the home builders, and I can find out. It seems to be kind of the call central for this item here. But, I believe Councilor Knutson is correct. They were going to come forth with some changes. There's a lot of groups involved with this, I think 6 at my last count. And I think that it's not unreasonable to give them a couple of weeks to come up with something, if not even a little bit more time. The one problem, and you and I talked about repealing, putting something forward to repeal this ordinance, and we were moving forward with that, but then I found out that the administration had gone ahead and put a moratorium on imposing the easements for building permits. And I guess I was satisfied with that. And the other part about it, and I believe I mentioned this to you the last time we spoke, Mr. Staggers, was I was real uneasy about letting the airport go unzoned. It was previously agriculture, and I think that was the wrong zoning for that. And I thought that the zoning was correct in a separate issue, and I didn't want to throw out the baby with the water, so to speak, the last time we spoke. I think I was able to convey that to you.
Sounds good.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Staggers. Is there anything else for the good of the order? Very good. Then I'm going to move on to item number 10, and that is executive session. And this is a legal consultation with Justice Robert Amundson. And as the council chair, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn into executive session for the purposes of consultation with legal counsel.
Would you like a motion?
I need a motion.
Knutson makes a motion to do so.
I have a first. I'm looking for a second.
Second, Benninger.
Benninger seconds. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of going into executive session, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. We go. I'd like the room cleared at this time, please.
I know, short meeting.